No scout team designated quite yet, so it seems like it's about you guys right now. What do you want your guys getting out of these first couple practices?
Back to fundamentals. Back to fundamentals. Tackling, striking, running the ball.
You feel like you're seeing some progress there?
There's some good energy.
Yeah.
There's some good energy. And I think, when you get to this point in the season and some of those guys that have been on scouts all year get a chance to actually perform our defense, they get fired up. And all of a sudden you get some pops and some guys that you're not sure about all of a sudden look pretty good.
Is there a difference? I mean, have some of those guys picked things up and have some guys not over the course of the year?
It's difficult when you're a scout because you're always the other team's defense. So 1 week you're Oregon State, 1 week you're Cal. So it's difficult for those guys to pick up what we're, to progress in what we're asking them to defensively and to perform those other defenses.
Are there a couple young guys that you felt like handled their business and really picked your stuff up while they were doing that?
I think overall, all of us, the tired at the threes looked pretty good today.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself seeing the entertainment value of what Trevon Boykin can do with a football in his hands?
Say that again.
Do you sort of find yourself moving away from being the coach and planning when you watch Trevon Boykin and just sort of get wrapped up a little bit in what he can do with a football?
No. I'm studying what they're doing and offensively, schematically, and then obviously the plays that he's, the design runs for him, and he's a fabulous athlete, and he's fun to watch, but I'm not. We've got to stop him.
Is this the best offense you guys will face this year?
I think this offense is extremely talented. I think their receivers are tremendous. The passing game is similar to Washington State and Cal. It's that type of passing game, but I think they've got a lot of playmakers. The thing I think they really do well is these guys catch the ball. You have to go up and make a play on the ball, and they'll catch it. They're really good at finishing.
So what is it that other Big 12 teams have done that they've been able to exploit TCU in ways?
You watch the whole season, and we're not through. We haven't completed our evaluation at this point. But you got to make plays on the balls. You got to tackle well. That's what you see on film. You got to do a good job of stopping the run, and then making some plays on the ball, in the air.
With the kind of recruits and scout team you guys have, is it easier to emulate a TCU as opposed to a Stanford?
Yes, it's easier for our guys to mimic an offense that's similar to ours, and this one is in a lot of ways is similar to ours.
Who's Boykin for you guys?
Pardon?
Who's Boykin for you guys?
And we haven't done the first 3 practices are about us, so we haven't settled in on who's going to play those specific positions.
Talking with John Neal yesterday, he said that with a healthy Trevon Boykin, it's kind of like they're playing 12 players against your 11. And then talking with Tyree, he said it's almost like when they used to go up against Marcus because he can run and he can throw, and it's almost like he counts for 2 players. Is that kind of the feeling that he's a little bit kind of like a Marcus?
Is he like Marcus? I will say this: of the quarterbacks we faced, this season, this is probably the first guy that really can run and will run it. A lot of the offense we faced, they're spread offenses, but they're not. The quarterbacks aren't running it much. They're holding you with play action pass fakes and pass fakes. But this guy takes off, and he's really good. So you do have to account for him in the passing game and as well in the run game and scrambling.
Mark said yesterday that
Most of this offense isn't just Boykin and isn't just Doxson. Do you feel like the depth of TCU's offense is maybe the best you've seen?
What I see in TCU, early evaluations, that they have tremendous skill players. All of them are really good. So it's not a situation where there's 1 or 2 guys that are really good and the other guys are okay. All these guys are extremely good players, and they all finish very well. And I think that's the difference with this team.
Mark was saying yesterday that when he's game planning for a defense in a bowl situation, you kind of throw tendencies out because teams have so long to prepare. Usually they're kind of maybe bringing in some new elements. Do you find that happening in bowl games when you have 3 months to scout someone? They usually try to sneak in something that's different than what they've shown in the 12 regular season games.
What happens with the additional time, you have a chance to go back and watch the entire season. And a lot of times you'll see, we'll watch a team, and there's some things that they did effectively, way back when that was versus a defense like ours. And so you have to be prepared for those things.
Is there almost paralysis by analysis when you have so much to look at from a defensive standpoint, or do you just try to hone in on what you do well and hope it matches up?
You try to hone in on principles and concepts and be prepared if those concepts start to occur that you have an answer.
We always see offenses throwing in new wrinkles in bowl games. Do defenses do that? Do you guys?
Sure.
Do you guys get creative?
Sure. Yeah, if you see something that has been successful, you definitely want to take a good look at it. If it fits into your system, then you definitely like to try to implement it.
Given all that, you've kind of kept the defensive playbook limited this year. Is that going to kind of be the same though in this bowl game? You don't want guys to be overthinking out there?
We won't really get in deep into the game plan until next week, but there could be a couple of different things added. I'm sure there will, because it's a different opponent. It's a quarterback that's going to take off running, so you have to do some different concepts to make sure you have that covered. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.